Hello, hunters, and welcome to our character showcase for the day, featuring everybody's lovable robot, Golem. Hello, my name is Michael, also known as America. Uh, Shout out to Rammstein fans out there. And today, I'm going to go through a gameplay video of Stage 1 using Golem and most of his moves and combos and feature set, and just kind of off the cuff talking about it, the different stuff that kind of goes into the game. And I'll kind of explain some of the mechanics behind things, and hopefully it'll be kind of a good behind the scenes peek at thought process when building out the game, building out gameplay, stuff like that. So we're just going to go ahead and go on in here and select our character, our star of the show, Golem. I'm going to speed through the cutscenes here because we've actually posted all of these before, and pretty much don't pay attention to any of the dialogue since most of it will probably end up changing, or at least for the other characters it will. As you can see, dashing is actually pretty important in the game. You can dash punch. There are also multiple different combos in the game. Right here is one of them, which is AABAB, which allows you to hit enemies on both sides and crowd control. And Golem here is our grappling character. So in a lot of beat 'em ups, what you have is the character will just walk into an enemy and it'll grab them, and then they throw them over their shoulder or they do something with them. I've always kind of considered that a little bit wonky. I know some people love it, so I'm not hating or anything like that. I've always thought that was a little wonky, and it makes it kind of require every character to always like have animations for that and be able to do that same move set. And I wanted to make sure that each character played and was balanced absolutely differently, despite sharing some similar traits. Like pretty much all the combos are the same. There is like an AAAA combo that'll always launch an enemy straight up in the air. There is an AAAB combo that'll knock enemies forward. There is an AABAB combo that'll do hit enemies both ways. And then like ABAB, which is exactly the one that I did right there, which knocks enemies straight ahead. And then what that does is it allows us to use all 4 buttons on the Neo-Geo controller, because we have a light button and we have a heavy attack button. And then we also have a jump button, and then we have what we call the signature move button. And Golem, as you probably figured out by now, his signature move is throwing. He has a lot of different throws. So instead of walking into an enemy and throwing them, he actually has a button that you can press. That was actually his special, I think some people call it like their emergency attack. I just call it the get off me attack, where it knocks him away. But anyway, he throws characters. So he has a front throw, he has a suplex back throw, he has a down throw that does an off the ground and OTG. And then he also has an up throw, which mostly is only good for like multiplayer when you're kind of throwing or kind of showing off. He also has a pile driver, which is one of the only moves in the game that actually has an input where you just press the throw button, you press down, up, and then it'll just do a pile driver. But he also has air throws, as you just saw. I did an air pile driver, which is just jump in the air, press the signature move button, and instead of just pressing the button, I hold down, it'll do a pile driver. Otherwise, you can press a direction and he'll throw either direction. So I know I'm kind of throwing a lot out there, but it's kind of like there's a lot more going on here than you would see. So as you can see, he is able. There's the off the ground throw, and I did a double air punch. He's the only character in the game who only has like a single hit air combo. Looney and Candy both can do multiple hits in the air. Golem, on the other hand, since I wanted him to be a little bit simpler, has one big hit that causes that wall splat. You can see it like on the ground, or see the shake. And see, that was for CC. It's like those guys in front of me might hit me, so I'll use the frontwards throw. And I wanted that guy to get off me, so I used that. And so you have a lot of different options. And that was the B heavy attack. They are slower, they hit a lot harder, and they knock enemies in the air. This is actually one of the secret rooms, so I'm kind of spoiling this a little bit, but we've shown this off so many times, it's fine. There's plenty of secrets in the game. But yeah, he's all about crowd control, throwing enemies, choosing which combos to use where, just trying to avoid damage. As you can see, these guys can poke from a long ways away, so you have to kind of be careful about them. And here's some environmental hazards that we have, some fire and stuff like that. And here's some of the items and whatnot. And anyway, the game is, as you can see, pretty fast-paced if you want it to be. You can just sit there and spam the A button. That was the up throw into a launcher. Oh, and that spin attack right there, if you hold down the light attack button on any character, it'll do that attack. So it works really good if you just do A, knock them up in the air, and then that, you just saw exactly that. And then I was able to jump, cancel out of that with a jump, into a pile driver for massive damage. So the speedrunning tech in this game, or just the tech in general for just options, there's a lot more going on than in a lot of other beat 'em ups. In part because I patterned this after more like a what if a Marvel vs. Capcom game, or even like Bayonetta or anything like that was a 2D brawler. You know, I want a bunch of simple options with all of them being fairly acceptable to be spammed through the game, so people who just want to kind of pick what they want to use have that option. So didn't want to limit anybody too much. And this is our shout out to Indiana Jones. And I'm kind of intentionally going slower here a little bit just to show off the boulder. And we do have some like basically in-game, what I call in-game, it's kind of, they're cutscenes, but not really. We actually have cutscenes where there's characters that talk, and the talking will actually change based on difficulty level. So the higher difficulty you go, the different dialogue you'll have. So there's a reason to beat the game on easy, normal, and hard to see all the different dialogue. There's not a lot, and it is a beat 'em up, so story is not priority, but it's there for those who want to be able to see that. And anyway, for the non-dialogue cutscenes, I've got a bunch of stuff that I set up where it just kind of tells an in-game story. Like, you can see that the mutants and the cavemen don't like each other. In fact, most everything hates the mutants. There's a reason why they exist, and the in-game story will tell you why, so I won't go into that too much. But pretty much everything hates the mutants. They do kind of infest everywhere, and you'll see them in multiple spots throughout the game. Probably a little bit more than other enemies, but not too much. We try not to actually repeat too many enemies in stages or anything like that, because we don't want things to get repetitive. And I neglected to mention it, there are guns in the game. We didn't want to do traditional guns, partly because we're an indie team and animation is one of the biggest bottlenecks. So the solution, my solution of that was like, hey, has anybody played Nier Automata? They had these cool floating pods with guns that you can change to different gun styles, and we could probably do something like that, maybe even work it into the story. And that's exactly what we did. So we have different guns, and this one on display here, I won't spoil the rest, but this one is a rocket launcher, and it's very fun to integrate into combos, which you just saw right there. I launched some enemies one way, I was able to wall punch and then pile drive them. And there we go. Oh, you can also change directions that you're hitting mid-air. You can change the height of your jump. You can, like I said, you can turn and attack the opposite way. There's a lot of things that a lot of beat 'em ups and brawlers don't allow you to do from the early 90s and even later 90s and even some modern ones that aren't my favorite design choice. Like I said, I'm not hating, they just aren't my favorite, and that's one of them. I want the game, you lose a little bit of the sense of weight, but what you gain is a lot of explosiveness and speed. So your typically traditional slow powerhouse brawler actually feels pretty action-packed. He's got tons of options to deal with basically any situation. He also does have a little bit more health than most of the other characters, so he can kind of take a little bit of bruising. And each character is different. Like I said, there is a signature move. His is grappling. Candy has a cartwheel that lets her do other abilities out of the cartwheel, including an on-the-ground stab. That's actually changing right there. This will have like an attack symbol. Actually, in the current build, it actually has an attack symbol and some other stuff. But he can get his HP back if you let him finish that. But anyway, the game has the signature moves, and his is grappling. So if you want to grapple, he's your guy. If you want to be evasive, like think Dark Souls dodge rolling, that's Candy. If you want to do ranged combos like Dalzim or somebody like that, then bam, Looney's gonna be your guy. He can do some pretty serious stuff. And as you can see, I'm kind of nuking this guy. This is on medium difficulty. If you know what you're doing, you can take out the bosses pretty quick. Like any good game, I would say, is like, as long as you know what you're doing, you should be able to handle most situations. And this boss can be a bit of a slog, or at least because of the information, but we got that fixed in the build, so don't worry. So anyway, that was a quick insider. I know I talked an awful lot, but that was a quick insider's look at Vengeance Hunters, and we will hopefully be doing a couple more videos like this for stage 1 to show off what the characters can do. And here's some of Javi's amazing design work with Kersey's in-game artwork. They're amazing. They're amazing individuals. Please go give them shout outs on Twitter as well. And Thomas, our main animator, of course, he's awesome. Anyway, that draws a conclusion to this video. Thanks for, I guess, entertaining my rambling. And everybody have yourself a wonderful day. Take care.